Hey guys, I'm eBaTT and I want to try and help you today with your backhand topspin. So there's obviously lots and lots of variations to a backhand topspin, but I'm going to try and give you a few tips that hopefully will help you to develop and upscale your backhand. So the first thing I want you to try and think about is about your hand and your fingers. So obviously the palm of the hand goes around the blade, and then you've got your index finger and thumb on the rubbers. So I try to use the index finger and thumb to explain to my players what to do with the backhand and forehand. So with the forehand, I try to talk about the index finger, how it kind of swipes like this. You don't exactly do that, but if you feel it and think about it, then it's kind of how you're playing your forehand. You're swiping with your index finger. The opposite with the backhand, you're using your thumb. And it's the same kind of thing. You're looking to swipe the thumb like this with your backhand. And that kind of then gets you flowing with the backhand in a more natural way. Okay, so let's talk about specific tips. So tip number one, contact point on the bat. With the backhand, the contact point is slightly different to the forehand. So we're going to look to try and hit the ball in this zone with the backhand. This is where we get the most velocity, and because we naturally come around the ball, we generally hit in this zone over here on the backhand. So you're going like that. Of course, there's different types of backhands, but if we're talking about a backhand topspin and a great player to watch who does it, not perfectly, but who does it beautifully, Tim Ball, he's very compact and his technique on the backhand is really, really quite special, and he does tend to contact the ball in this zone very often. Tip number two, all about the wrist. The backhand is really all about the wrist. And a lot of people don't trust the wrist because they feel like they lose control. So they use the arm, a bit like their forehand. You can use mainly your arm and get the ball on with a lot of energy, although some top players do still use the wrist, and it gives them a lot more spin. But it's difficult to implement. So with the backhand, if you can learn how to flick the wrist out and trust that the wrist will enable you to generate lots more spin and speed and even control, you'll find your backhand will really elevate very fast. So how can you develop this kind of stroke? Very easily. All you need to do is either grab a partner or drop a ball next to you and hold your hand or your forearm just below the wrist. You cock the wrist inwards towards your body or your stomach, and you flick the wrist out. Once you've done this stroke, stop and have a look. Is your wrist cocked out like this, or is your wrist like that? Some players, what they do is they naturally swipe, and they think they're using their wrist. Because they go in a sideways motion, their brain kind of tells them or signals to them that they have used the wrist, but they actually haven't. So you need to look to fully understand how the stroke looks like and whether you've done it correctly. So let's have a quick look. This is me here, flicking my wrist. Not flicking my wrist. And this time, this is me flicking my wrist. And hopefully you should see a difference between both strokes. And also listen to the sound. This one, no wrist. It's a bit of a hollow sound. And that one's a thinner sound. And those are the differences between using your wrist and not using your wrist. So, like I said, try and implement exercises by holding your forearm and just flicking the wrist as if you're throwing a frisbee. Tip number three. This is a difficult thing to explain and quite difficult to implement, but in time you can develop this. It's what's called a loose to firm. Loose to firm. So a lot of people get this kind of confused because it's difficult to implement, going from a relaxed state to a firm state and not a stiff state. A lot of players, they're stiff and they're reducing the speed and the control as well. So you want to relax and then you want to kind of tense up but not be firm. How do we kind of implement this? You have to think like you're going to catch something, and you go relaxed and you catch it very fast. So if I drop a ball like this, I go quickly with my hand. Maybe let's have a look from the side. Like that. I go quick and then I squeeze. And that's what I'm looking to do when I'm playing my backhand topspin. I'm relaxed and then I squeeze at the end. There. relax, squeeze at the end. You can see my muscles tensing a little bit at point of contact or just before point of contact. Maybe let's say about 5 to 10 centimeters before point of contact, you squeeze the handle. And that's where you get that loose but firm movement, which enables you to get lots of spin, lots of speed, and really upscales your backhand topspin. Actually, I'm going to give you a tiny little bonus tip. I want you to really focus on trying to get the ball to bounce nice and deep when you're playing the backhand topspin. And also, if you can, to get the ball to go slightly out on the opponent's side. So if you've got that ball going out, then you've obviously opened up the table for yourself. And that's why it's also quite good to contact the ball in this zone, which we spoke about earlier. So as always, thank you very much for subscribing. Please hit the like button and avoid hitting the dislike button. I don't like that, it's not nice. If you don't like it, just switch off. And if you do like the videos, please feel free to share, leave a comment, and I'll do my best to get back to you. Again, thanks for everything, thanks for your support, and we'll see you on the next video.